Happy holidays from the Sewing Works. I wanted to give you a couple of tech pointers as you're sewing along for the holidays to remind you you need to change your needle periodically. How often should you change your needle? I recommend every project or 8 hours of sewing. If you have a chrome needle, you can last up to 12 hours. Be sure to be listening for that flat needle. A sharp needle will give you better sewing quality. Also, some of you may be neglecting to oil and clean out the lint from your machine. So I wanted to revisit some of that so you can be remembering all those nice maintenance tips to keep you out of our repair shop and keep you sewing. So let's go to the machines. So here's a closer look at the Bernina 330. So we'll open the bobbin door, and the first thing I'm going to do is take my bobbin out. Next thing I'm going to do is open this hook gate, which has a lever here on the left that you just press in, and that drops down with that black ring intact. And then this is my CB hook that I'm going to just take out here. So this is what grabs your top thread and forms every stitch. I want to go ahead and open the stitch plate up as well to get any lint that might be in this feed dog area. And to do that, you press down on this bullseye, and it is a little bit stiff at first. There we go. And I like to take my lint brush starting at the top and sweep around up near that feed dog system, because generally if I sweep around up here, a lot of that lint will fall down in this hook system. So by having everything out and ready to clean, I can continue down here. And then for stubborn lint, I like to use a good old-fashioned Q-tip to come in and get all the little nooks and crannies. The Q-tip has a tendency to grab the fibers instead of just brush them around, and get all of those out. Once the machine has been properly swept out of lint and debris, I want to go ahead and put a drop of oil. You're going to be looking right in front of this black back from where your hook sits, and on this silver piece directly in front there's just a little flat spot. That's where the hook rides. So you're going to put one drop of oil down there. If you get too much, that's where your Q-tip comes in handy again to wipe some excess up. And then you can see to replace this hook, there's a half moon shape already in there, and this completes the full circle. This CB hook is the same that's on the 530, the 215, and the 350 are some of the more recent models. So once that's set in there nice and flush on the edge, I'll be able to close my hook door. And if this is really difficult to close, it's probably because the hook isn't seated all the way. So make sure that latch is on the left. And then I do like to give it just one rotation of the hand wheel to get that oil worked in. You can replace your stitch plate and replace your bobbin case. If you need to wind a new bobbin, go ahead and do that. And we're ready to start sewing again. Remember, on these smaller bobbins, you can run 2 bobbins before you need to stop, clean, and oil. Now I'm going to show you how to clean and oil the new Bernina hook. This is the same hook that's on the new 4 series. You can see we have our 480 here, and it will be in the 480, the 475, and the 435, which are both those other 4 series are coming out in January. And it is the existing hook that's in the next generation 5 series and the 7 series machines. So let's take a closer look. Once again, we're going to open our bobbin door, and this looks familiar. We have another hook gate here. We'll release the bobbin first. And with these Bernina jumbo bobbins, you are going to want to clean and oil every time you refill your bobbin. That's a lot of thread to go through. So the hook gate lever to release is here on the left. That'll drop down, and this is a full Bernina rotary hook that I'm just going to grab the center and pull that out. We can pop off our stitch plate so that we can access all the fuzzies up top as well. Do a quick sweep out, being mindful to get any bits that fall down to the bottom. And then coming in with our Q-tips. Just be careful when you're using these Q-tips that you don't shred them up and let the little bits fall down in your machine. That's the last thing we want. So you might have to switch sides or get a new one. And then once we're all cleaned and free of debris, we're going to use your Bernina rotary oil pen to put 1 drop of oil on each of these felt pads. And if you have any excess, you can use your Q-tip to wipe some of that up. The other place we're gonna oil is, if you see right where the black part of the back of the bobbin case goes, or where the hook goes, meets the silver, there's a little ledge on that silver metal, and you're just gonna put 1 drop of oil right on that ledge. Now I really wanted to show this part of the putting the hook back in, because I think a lot of people tend to be afraid to take their hook out because it can be a little challenging at first to get the hang of getting it back in. So the way that I do it, I like to put the bottom side of the hook in first, and when the white dot is at 6 o'clock on a time clock, the point of this hook should be pointing to about 12 o'clock. So I'm getting it kind of lined up. Put the bottom side in first, and then, oh, it sucked right in. But oftentimes I like to use my 2 fingers like a peace sign to work that hook back and forth until it really sucks in. Because if you hold on to the pin in the middle, it can spin around and around. So you really have to get a hold of these edges. Sometimes 2 hands working together works good as well. So now that I've got my hook back in, I'll latch the hook door. I'll give it a good rotation to get that oil worked in. You might want to sew on a piece of test fabric just a couple inches until you're sure the oil's out. Put your bits back together and you're ready to sew. Here we have the new 8 Series Gold machine. So this is the Bernina 880, and let's take a closer look at how we clean and oil this hook system. On the 8 Series, when you open your door, you'll have to have your machine on so that it rotates the hook out for you. And take your bobbin out by pulling that lever to the side. Make sure to gently pull your thread out if it's still attached into the bobbin case system. And then you can rotate your hand wheel around to check for any lint or any extra thread bits. So I'm going clockwise with my hand wheel to get that to turn for me. And I can also pop up my stitch plate. And I can use my lint brush to wipe that out, and my Q-tips. Once again, as we've been doing, this machine hasn't seen much action, so it's nice and clean, but I want to go ahead and I like to, at the end, wipe underneath here, because that's kind of a catch-all for thread cutter bits and well, just other lint. So clean under there. Then I'm going to continue to rock my hand wheel until the largest gap is shown between the black part and the silver part. So this extra bar, the skinny bar, will be kind of coming over the top of my bobbin area. And I'm just going to put 1 drop right on the top. Then I do like to continue to work that around at least 1 more time. And I'm mindful that when I finish, I stop with my needle in the up position. And then I can do a little half raise to get that bobbin to reset for me. And I can reload my bobbin. and replace my stitch plate. Don't forget to also clean out your automatic thread cutters on your Bernina hooks and your 8 series hooks. And if you have any questions about how to do that or haven't been shown how to do that, give us a call or stop in and we'd love to show you how that works. Thank you for joining us. Remember to clean and oil your machines as you're using them. They'll last longer and stay out of the repair shop that way. Be sure to check with your local dealer and your manufacturer to make sure you're hitting all your oil points if your machine was not featured in this video. And remember to keep those needles sharp and you'll be able to keep on sewing. Thank you. Happy holidays.